Comcast is
right
being
now
a
it's
little
6 bits
funky,
damage.
dropping some frames. Just a heads up, in case you're,
Don't look at it.
Yeah,
Can't hurt you if you don't look.
that's right. Look away. You don't want to see it.
Don't blink.
So moving on, the you and N make your way through this area and over to actually very very close to this bar that you guys are in, because you're in the slums right now. This is the shitty neighborhood.
Yeah, well, our bar is a shithole.
Absolute shit. Well, not the usual bar.
Oh
of
no,
this
because
bar.
that's the thing. We have two
This is the
bars.
shitty
One
bar.
is slightly nicer. Yeah, this is the shitty bar. I nearly forgot for a second.
So you guys make your way over to where it is, which is very close to here, but also strangely enough, Stalbor knows the lower parts of the city well enough to know it's also very close to the Dask base of operations. And so when you guys finally go to this building, you go to the building and the door itself is like all boarded up, the windows are boarded up or bricked up, and the whole place is mangled. There's literally like a sleeping or maybe a dead guy out front. No, he's sleeping. Stalbor would know if he was dead. He would definitely get that taste. This guy's just foul. So you guys go over there, and the place is clearly boarded up. Looks like it hasn't been in ages, and you cannot just like walk in, right? And so you go up and you see this, and you probably like take note of it, or maybe even like go over towards the front door, prepare to like aid in some way of knocking down the door using magic, not using magic.
No,
whatever
it's Stalboy. He's just following.
Just
He's smart
watching.
enough to assume there's more shit going on.
So when N actually goes over to the place, goes over and places a hand on the door, says a couple of words, and you actually hear something fall in a loud thunk on the ground from the other side, and pushing the door slightly open before it like hits whatever that was and slips in. You slip in right behind her, because she's currently in a female body. Slipping behind her, and you see that there is a large hunk of wood that is now on the ground that was like popped out of whatever it was that it was sitting on. So she goes into this place and goes over to a chest that's over in the corner and says, "We need that chest." It's like an old, beat up, ratty chest. There's like rags and
Do we
whatnot on it.
need to be stealthy?
No, we can just carry this chest out of here and bring it to the ship. There's more things that we need to carry than just this.
Well, why would we carry it? And I start casting a ritual.
Thinking for a second, like as you start casting the ritual, like thinking to interrupt you, she thinks for a few moments, like, but that's going to be too high pro. I'm with Stalbor. It doesn't matter if it's high profile, does it?
People
What spell
know
are
me
you
around
casting?
here. Floating discs.
She nods and goes over to the chest and starts just kind of like dusting it off a little bit and getting things out of the way. Unlocks it with a key, opens it up and looks inside. Stalbor tosses a glance while doing his spell, but not like really examining. You see there's like bits of armor and stuff like that that are inside there, but nothing crazy. Shuts it and locks it up and like gets ready for when the disc is actually ready 10 minutes later. And then you and her hoist it onto the disc, and the disc takes the burden of the weight. You then take it out of there, and because you don't have to head straight to the ship because it's on the disc, it makes things a lot easier. She starts walking over towards an entirely different district of the city. During the second walk, which is much longer, do you say anything to her? Do you engage in conversation, or are you still quiet at this point?
He would say at some point, in all honesty, I'm very happy that you're joining our little group of friends.
I honestly didn't think that you would have an investment one way or the other beyond serving Kieran's purpose. Why?
I knew nothing of your kind. It fills me with giddy curiosity. I'll have many questions, unless they're too prying, for more private places.
Many of humankind, saying, like, are very private with almost every aspect of themselves. Some might be more open. Buy a girl a drink before you ask her on the date.
I'm planning on bringing a lot of drink onto the ship.
She'll laugh to that, like a small laugh. And then you guys continue going, again, towards a very different region of the city. Actually, this very different region of the city, which is still down below, happens to be disgustingly close to your friend's house.
Well, I mean, it's Sean. Everything's close to something.
Right? So disgustingly close to your friend's house, and you've actually seen the inhabitant of this house go in and out of it several times. And so when you go into this house, which has multiple inhabitants in the house, and so when you see her go walking in and just kind of like asks you to wait at the door, and there's multiple inhabitants inside that house, she goes over and walks in. Somebody's like, "Hey, we haven't seen your boyfriend in forever. Where is he? Shut up, you bastard!" And like just kind of like goes into like a back room and grabs up a whole bunch of things. "Well, if he's not going to pay his share, we're going to rent out his room to somebody else. You want coin? Fine, here's coin for you." And she like gives some obscene gesture towards him, and but gives no money, and just carries like armfuls of stuff out of the place, and like is stuffing it into like a bag as she's going, and like throws it into the bag and then onto the disc, and is like, "Sorry about that. Let's keep going." From there, you go to a much fancier part of the city, and then a few other ones as she collects various things. One of the things that she does tell you before you head back to the ship is that you're going to need Luca to grab the last little bit of stuff for her. You know, go and visit his brother to get some stuff. But other than that,
I assume she would give more details so I can actually like go with him and get the stuff.
just to have Luca go, like Luca can go
cool.
meet with Nico and get the rest of the stuff.
Oh, yeah, I get you.
Yep. And so she goes with you, jumps everything off at the ship. What room is going to be hers on the ship, Aaron? Are you going to kick out one of your first mates or take a room from one of the other two? Oh, God, I can't believe I just asked that.
Yeah, why did you ask that?
Or do you give her the one on the deck in the front half that has no bed or anything like that?
Yeah, I was going to say
It's like a
that
big
like
bow.
front room. Yeah, that's like the fact that it has no bed is made up for by floor space. You know.
I mean, you've already annoyed.
I mean, if you
might as well just
actually-
go the full mile, right?
If
Yeah,
we were
we'll
putting,
we'll stick Lugo with Reich.
No, I
I'm
was
not
gonna say,
saying
if
with
you-
Reich and a warg. Why
you
am I
wanna be
saying with
smart
Reich
about
and
it.
a warg?
if you want to be smart about it, you put her in that other room, and you take Stalbor's bed and put it in that room.
Yeah, there you
Stalbor
go.
doesn't need a bed. So I think
Yeah.
if we were starting to plan that out, that would be what Stalbor would suggest after a little while. He doesn't need a bed.
Yep. Also, Luca, your room's gonna be shared by all these fucking hobgoblins anyway. That you're bringing forward. So
Oh no, that doesn't bother me. That's fine. I just don't want a warg.
I'm just letting you know.
Why did you give the hobgoblins a room? Make them sleep in the cargo hold.
Well, they are, but there's too many of them.
They're hobgoblins. They're used to crappy conditions. This is probably
Yeah,
better
but-
than their beds.
Like I'm packing like sardines. Like
Her concern is like livable space, like
Right.
Food supplies, livable space, quality of conditions. And I think it's funny that Eric's just like, just shove the hobgoblins in another room. Who cares?
This is stuff they're used to. This is how they travel.
But she's
This is
saying,
probably
Five-star
nicer
but
combination.
ships
than
are
they're used to.
already uncomfortable for those that live on them. Sans the
Right.
few of you, right, who are taking up an exorbitant amount of space. This is like, gonna call the
we're
Humane
gonna be
Society.
like 10 people over, like
Yeah.
over like maximum capacity.
Yep.
Right.
Which
Because
is
Luca
like
agreed to it,
25%
not realizing
over
what it
maximum
meant.
capacity. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So we do that. If Luca's back on the ship, I'll tell him that he needs to go see Luco. If not, I don't, because he's not there.
Okay. So, I mean, Luca is there, so you can tell him.
Yeah. Then I.
He was waiting for that. Yeah. You tell me, and I say, I'll just ask Stalbor. Did he mention what he needed?
No, I imagine it'll all piece together now. I need to move a bed. So
I roll my eyes and I go, well, I guess I have to go finish up this business. And I'll leave to go do it.
Okay. So when you go there and you go through the house and go to meet with him and whatnot, you can actually see there's a fair number of this is actually a class in one of the systems, but there is a number of inquisitors that are currently on the premises of the house beneath that are asking several people questions right now. The inquisitors don't work for House Beneath, so if they're here, it's a chance that they're being outsourced to ask questions in different ways than would typically be done. So there are a considerable number of inquisitors asking people questions, and literally every one of them watches you as you go. And so it's one of those things where it's like, oh shit, they're actually here for me? That's ridiculous. And you go and you meet with your brother. And he is, of course, inside of his office, as he always is. When you approach the door, how do you approach the door?
I go to like walk in and do the knock. Like I go to do that and then I stop and I'm like, oh shit, I remember what happened last. And then this all, I'm like, I very politely like knock, knock, knock.
Okay.
I just kind of stand to the side away and wait.
Come in.
I open the door slowly and peek in.
Oh, Luca, please come in.
I shut the door behind me and kind of drop the coy act, and I just walk in like.
It's like, thank you for knocking for once, says, finishing signing a paper and then putting it up on the thing. What brings you here? Oh, that's right. You were coming to collect some stuff for me, right? You were borrowing some of my equipment on your voyage? Let me
Yes.
Let me see if I can get my hands on that. You know, when our uncle left the stuff to me, he did explicitly say to make sure that it is always well cared for. So if I'm going to be lending this to you for any amount of time, you must give it the full respect that our uncle would have expected of me to give to it, right?
So you could totally see Luca like chewing on his cheek, just like hardcore, not making any audible things, or just like biting the shit out of his cheek. He goes, "Yeah, I got it, bro."
Bro? That's certainly a term I don't think I've ever heard before. He says, genuinely looking perplexed and actually trying to hide annoyance.
No, wait. I think when Eric was role playing Nico, I believe Nico called me bro.
Oh no, Eric!
If
you
wanna
ruined the
get technical,
canon.
You want to get technical?
All right, but
I made the cannon. I made you.
but keep continuing on.
Everyone's a
continue
very
on.
modern world.
Continue on.
Yeah.
I can say bro.
So he
Just saying.
so he's like, I have the supplies over here, and he goes over and he's like puts a bunch of stuff on it and whatnot, and he's like, and it's actually when he gets over there, can you do me a favor because you're really good at this stuff? Could you roll me a perception with advantage?
Perception with advantage. I'm not gonna Eric it. Fuck you. Don't want to do shots.
Dude, I
That's not
Eric the
happening.
hell out of Ollie's stream on
Wednesday,
It
there
was
was
awful.
so much
It was
Ericing.
awful. I was just out of it. So, all right. So continuing on, the 21 perception. You actually notice now that you're up close that the armor and everything that he's wearing is not the same armor he typically wears. You can see that it's not the same stuff that he wears every day.
Okay.
It's more of a standard Denith attire, right? The sword at his side, all that stuff, everything just seems off, like it seems fake. But he's wearing it. And so he goes over to his, yep, here's the chest right here. And actually, do you think you can handle a task for me?
Most likely I can handle it.
There is very, very important documents that I need to be transported to a ship at the docks. Do you think you could bring it to that ship for me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. I would love it for you to do that. And he goes over to his desk and pulls out like a wad of papers and rolls them up and puts them inside of a tube.
Shit.
You can tell that the papers are all of different like grains and of different colors and whatnot. So it's clearly paperwork that's been selected to be in this pile. And he rolls it up and shoves it, like forces it into a scroll tube and puts it on there. He's like, oh, it's not much paperwork, just, something for you to carry out for me. And he hands you the scroll.
Yeah, I take the scroll and tuck it away.
I genuinely appreciate you doing this for me, Luca. I know you're my little brother, but you're not my errand boy. Mind you, I think Luca's a minute older, isn't he?
Luca's a what? I'm sorry.
Isn't Luca genuinely a minute older?
Technically he is a minute older, yes.
Yeah. So he goes, I know you're my little brother and not my errand boy.
Biting his cheek. He might be bleeding, actually, on the inside of his mouth. That might be happening. You can't really tell, but yeah. He's trying to be on his best behavior right now, and it's killing him.
Funny. So, yep. So he gives you that stuff, gives you the scroll case, says, make sure you deliver it to that ship at the docks for me. It is of vital importance. Otherwise, I have a lot of work to do. Not everybody can just go off gallivanting and venturing with their friends. So, please, Luca, bring that directly to the ship.
So Luca will give like the house beneath salute, whatever that might be.
Mhm.
He'll give the salute and just be like, "Beneath errand boy on it," like sarcastically, and he'll walk out.
And Nico will give like a genuine laugh. It's a laugh like you would expect somebody to give if you were if somebody told an old joke, like an old inside joke that you hadn't heard in a very long time. And it comes out like way too naturally for it. But anyways, so the laugh comes out, maybe creeps Luke out a little bit. He hoists up the chest, which is actually very heavy, and you can see why it was that she was asking for some muscle before. And you now have to lug this damn heavy thing all the way to the docks.
I'm going to take a step outside of the
And?
office, and I'm gonna cast a spell, a ritual spell.
Oh yeah, what spell is that?
Hey.
This little something.
It's almost like I taught you it. Which is funny because the whole thing I should have probably mentioned is that Stalbor learned the spell from Odette trying to learn the spell. She didn't even finish learning the
Yeah.
spell.
Oh,
And then
it's so funny.
Luke the spell.
Yep, it's
Yep.
so good.
Stalbor's a badass.
Yep. Oh, this is so good. All right, so you throw that chest on there, and you have that scroll case, and you head your way straight to Kieran's ship, I imagine.
Yeah, I go straight there. I'm
So
not trying to get in any fuss with all this stuff.
The bowl of the sea, and you go and you drop it off. When you actually get to Kieran's ship, and this is probably your first time getting onto the ship and whatnot since you left everybody yesterday or whatever. When you get onto the ship, and it's kind of like one of those, where am I putting this? That room over there. Oh, I was wondering what we're going to use that room for. And you go in, you put it down. You notice that in this room, what has been amassed by Stalbor and now yourself is a considerable number of things. There's literally now a dozen chests that are inside
shit.
this room. There's literally now a dozen chests that are inside the room, as well as like a few other bits of things that are here and there and about.
I'll kind of take note of it. I'll look to see if any of the chests are open.
I said bull, not bull. Bull.
It sounded
I
like-
know
it
it's
sounded
bull.
like bull.
Other people say that they heard it as bowl, okay? Just for
Bull.
the record.
It sounded
like-
like bull
like-
that time.
Cow of the sea.
Yeah. All right. I'm sorry. I did not hear what you said, Will, because I was distracted by.
I said I'll take note of like the amount of things in here, but then I'm gonna kind of like go to over like maybe the closest chest that I didn't put down and see if it's like open, unlocked, or anything.
They're all
Give it
locked.
like a little.
They're all locked. So
nudge.
I can just tell you that right now. But
Yep.
do you care to do anything with it?
Nope. Literally just taking a mental note that there's, say you said 12 chests and that they're all locked.
Yep. Okay. And so and they're all like different makes. They're not like all identical chests or anything like that. They're all
Right.
very different makes. And then you leave. And so we're gonna flash forward time to the conversation that we were gonna have, which is Reich. Reich, you're having your conversation with the older guy, with Luca, and you guys are gonna meet up with him. And so when he sits down with you, and he's like, "Oh, I'm glad you and I have an opportunity to meet again, Reich. But I see that you've brought Luca with you this time. What is it that you wanted to speak to me about so urgently? Is there
Well-
more developments, perhaps?
Reich is not a very good liar. However, I'm going to do my best to try to look like I am like hurried. Like I'm very. I think Harry's probably the word. Like I'm very flustered and concerned.
Mhm.
When I sit down, I'm gonna like very obviously like look back and forth, like making sure that no one's listening in. And I lean in and I say, "We've discovered who it is for certain."
You have. Okay, you seem a bit concerned by this. Roll me your deception check, because you are trying to seem deceptive.
It's, deception is not Reich's strong suit.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not like it's going to be a super high DC because it's a very believable lie. Okay. So anyways, so with your 10 there, you actually have a -1, which is funny. He's like, you seem concerned. Should I get you a drink first, young man?
No,
Fully know your age.
I have very little time. I must make haste out of the city.
Please
He's
then,
found.
tell me.
I can't say here. I can give you some information, and then I can make sure you get the rest shortly. I want to make sure that when I give you this information, that this will be enough for you to make a conviction. But I've just learned for certain from my friend Luca here that the man that we hunt is a oh god, I forgot the name of this group. It's the third group of Hassanith.
The
Is a
Sentinel Marshes.
Sentinel
Sentinel
Marshal.
Marshes.
Is a Sentinel
Don't you hate
Marshal.
when somebody else forgets something and makes you forget it? So Sentinel Marshes.
He is a
You're
Sentinel
telling
Marshal.
me that a Sentinel Marshal is the one? That is concerning indeed, because people like that genuinely aren't even allowed to be looked into by standard means, and they certainly have the means to go above and beyond many laws.
This is my concern. I believe that, if I'm correct, this person might be in a position where we can make a move on them. Is there a place? I will make myself. I will make a very concerted attempt to contact you once I have definitive proof. But by the time that happens, I will be gone. They're hunting me. They know I'm onto them. And if they find me before I'm able to get you the proof, then I fear they'll be able to continue on with their machinations uninhibited.
Well, this certainly is a concern there, boy. All right, well, is it somebody that is genuinely stationed in this city or this region, or what's
If my
little more
information
can you
is
give me?
if my information is correct, they are in this city. And they will be here tonight. I need to make sure of one more piece before I give you a name. I'm almost certain of the name, but before I give you a name, me and Luca have one last thing to do. I will send you the name via message because, as I mentioned, I will be gone from the city when I get this information. But I want you to know I'm incredibly thankful for everything that you've done. And the fact that you were even willing to meet and believe me when I told you this initially.
Well, Luca, you're here. You and I don't know each other terribly well. As a matter of fact, you don't know me at all. But that doesn't change the fact that I am invested in yourself and your brother and the things that you have done. Please, Luca, speak to me on this. How did this come to pass?
I take like a big deep breath and I'm like, well, we've been doing quite the bit of investigating over the past year. I'm sure you heard about the DOSC that was in the city and that we've dealt with all that. And it's just led to one lead after another. Like Reich said, we can't go over the exact person of who it is, but things are finally showing their true colors. And it's about time we do something about it.
Well, thank you for what you're bringing to me. It's like you've said, it's time we do something. You run along quickly, Reich. I will begin matters and see what it is that we can. You telling me that it is a Sentinel Marshal. There is very specific ways that must be handled, and that climbs all the way to the top. You do understand that means you and I, old accord, must now be broken. I'm going to have to start to speak to people if you wish things to be put in motion. When you put a trap for a Sentinel Marshal, you must have that trap fully readied.
I very much understand. I will send you a. Are you familiar with the spell Whispering Wind?
It's a very short range, but Whispering Wind. It has a range. I'm not a caster myself. I was more familiar with it when I was on the field of battle, but no, I suppose, yes, I've heard of it, but no, I don't know its rules.
It will allow me to send a range. It will allow me to send a spell of a much larger range than a simple message would, but still a rather short range. As soon as I break port, as soon as I am safe, and I have my evidence, I will send you the name. Once I send you the name, you must act immediately. I am almost certain that this person intends to leave post-haste.
Well, I will be listening for that message, and well, we will certainly be prepared. Now, please, again, gentlemen, leave. Do what you must do. May I ask, how is it that you're Don't tell me how is it you're leaving. God forbid they went to break these old bones. It's best that I know nothing.
I nod to
This
that.
just
saying,
in. I would not be able to send you a whispering wind. I will instead send you a raven.
or sending or something else. You're fine.
This just in.
Hey,
I
listen,
play
just
with a
because it
bunch of
doesn't
rule
exist in
lawyers.
5e, just because it doesn't exist in 5e doesn't mean it can't
Right.
exist in 5e, okay?
Yeah, I assume Civis has something like similar as like a special ability.
That totally
I almost
seems
feel
like
as
a
though
Civis kind of
Whispering
thing.
Wind is something that House Lyrindar would have. You know what I mean? Like as a
Yeah.
unique thing for
Because
them.
it isn't very, from what I'm reading, it's not very secretive.
No.
No.
You're basically yelling somewhere far away.
Well,
That does seem like Lyrindal.
but the only people within the vicinity hear it. It's not like it's not
I
like
know, but
or
it's not
people
like...
during
It's
passage.
it's the longest range one that is not going to be expensive as fuck. 'Cause
Yeah,
sending
yeah.
is expensive.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So you guys can conclude the meeting, and you get up and you GTFO back to the ship, wherein everybody's now prepared to leave. Sans one minor detail, which is Kieran, you are 10 people over the limit of the ship. How are you going to handle that? I'm going to let you
Making
brainstorm
Luca sleep
that
with
one.
all of them.
I'm going to let you brainstorm that for a second, looking at the picture of the boat and figuring out how you want to do that. And in the meanwhile, we're going to go on our first break. See you all in about 5 minutes. Thank you all so much. Thank you for all of the bits, too.